6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The President says Sri Lanka can be made a regional hub for education. Branches of the internationally recognized universities are to be established in the country. Deadline for filling the income tax returns extended. Today is a holiday for all government and government-approved private schools. No power cuts during festive season and exam period. Electric motor boats will be introduced from next year for fishermen. News overseas, China signals ease in COVID policy after mass protests. In sports football, Belgium is out of World Cup as Croatia claimed draw. And those are the headlines. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says Sri Lanka has the potential to become a regional hub for education. Speaking at the committee stage debate of the 2023 budget, Mr. Wickremesinghe explained that over the next 25 years, schooling systems may change drastically. However, Sri Lanka can be made an educational hub. Talking about the vast number of students that leave the country for higher education, Mr. Wickremesinghe stated that nearly $3 billion is sent out of the country due to this. He explained that if Sri Lanka commits to become a regional hub for education, this $3 billion will not only remain within the country, but can even increase to $10 billion and called on the National Council and other parliamentary committees to look into this matter. Meanwhile, Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that branches of the internationally recognized universities should be established in the country. A bill should be passed in the parliament to provide a protection to invest in non-profitable universities, including faculties of medicine. Finance State Minister Shehan Semesinghe says the deadline for filling income tax returns has been extended for another week from November 30. Responding to a question raised by MP J.C. Alawathuwala during the parliamentary session yesterday, the lawmaker mentioned that penalties will not be charged during this period. Mr. Alawathuwala raised concerns about a malfunction reported in the system used for filling income tax returns. The deadline was initially set for November 30. However, many people are left without any means to fill their income tax returns as a result of this technical failure, the parliamentarians added, seeking a response from the State Minister in this regard. Mr. Semesinghe explained that network traffic was detected in the system yesterday with people trying to fill the income tax returns before the deadline expires. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Public Utilities Commission says a power supply will not be interrupted during exam days and coming festive season. Chairman of the Public Utilities Commission, Janaka Ratnayaka, says that the public should not have any doubt about it. He added that the Ceylon Electricity Board has not requested an electricity tariff revision so far, and there is no requirement for a tariff revision at the moment. It was reported that although the electricity tariff has been increased in the past, it is not sufficient to cover the loss of CEB. Therefore, the request to increase the electricity bill has received cabinet approval. Fisheries Minister Douglas Devananda says steps will be taken to introduce electric motor boats for fishermen from next year. Minister mentioned the move will be implemented to address the fuel crisis. He made these remarks at the meeting of Ministerial Consultative Committee on Fisheries held recently in Parliament. The minister also pointed out that he is planning to introduce electric motor boats that can travel 100 kilometers using batteries. The cost is only 86 rupees per day to fishermen engaged in small fishing, he added. The minister also mentioned that attention has also been paid for providing electricity generation facilities through solar panels and wind turbines for boats using kerosene and diesel. Litrogas Lanka Limited says more than 100,000 domestic gas cylinders have been released to the market at present. Chairman of the company, Mudita Piri, said consignments ordered by the company are now arriving in the country and the customers will be able to make required purchases during the festive season without any shortages. He said a limited number of gas cylinders were released to the market recently due to the delays in the arrival of shipments. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Ministry of Education says that today will be a holiday for all government and government-approved private schools in the country as the second term of the schools drew to an end yesterday. The third term is scheduled to commence on Monday. Meanwhile, the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination will be held on December 18, 2022 and GCE Advanced Level Examination is scheduled to be held from January 23rd to February 17, 2023. And that's top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
The water supply in several parts of Colombo will be interrupted for 15 hours today due to essential maintenance work related to the Ambatale Energy Improvement Project. National Water Supply and Drainage Board said that the water supply in Colombo 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 will be interrupted from 10 p.m. today till 1 p.m. tomorrow. And that was Watchlight.
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
For C headlines, China signals ease in COVID policy after mass protests. Spanish PM targeted amid a spate of letter bombs. World's most expensive cities, New York and Singapore, top list. And those are the headlines of the world news. China has signaled a shift in its COVID stance as it moves to ease some virus restrictions despite high daily case numbers. Dozens of districts in Shanghai and Guangzhou cities have seen rising cases were released from lockdown measures yesterday. The country's vice premier also announced that the country was facing a new situation. It comes as China is seeing mass protests against its zero COVID policy. Spain has stepped up security after revealing a number of letter bombs have been sent to high-profile targets, including the Prime Minister. On Wednesday, an employee of the Ukrainian embassy in Madrid was lightly injured when a similar device exploded. Officials say the defense minister was among the other targets. Another device was also sent to the US embassy. It is thought that the bombs could be linked to Spain's support for Ukraine, but no one has yet claimed to have sent them. The world's most expensive cities are jointly New York and Singapore, according to the annual Economist Intelligence Unit survey. It is the first time New York has topped the rankings. Last year's number one, Tel Aviv, is now placed third. Overall, the average cost of living in the world's biggest cities is up 8.1% this year, the EIU survey reports. The war in Ukraine and the COVID's impact on supply chains were identified as main factors behind the increase. And that was World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In development news, Raigam Group of companies will set up one of the Asia's largest oil extraction plants in Dambulla. Raigam Group Chairman Ravi Liyanage says the factory will be put up in Athabadi Weber in Dambulla on a 7-acre land belonging to them. And they also received a grant of $100 million under the Agriculture Modernization Project program of the World Bank. The factory will provide job opportunities to youth in the area. And that was development news. In sports, Belgium has been knocked out of the World Cup at the group stage as Croatia progressed at their expense with a goalless draw in Qatar. Roberto Martinez's side, who finished third in Russia 4 years ago, are ranked second in the world, have had a disappointing tournament with just one win and one goal in their 3 matches. They produced another lackluster display against Croatia despite knowing victory was necessary to progress at the last 16. And that was sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Treasury bonds eased with the buying interest continuing Thursday, while the central bank's guidance peg was unchanged, dealers said. A bond maturing on May 1st, 2024 closed at 31.90% yesterday, down from 32% on Wednesday. And that's business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Moving on to economic news, the Sri Lanka's banks may need more regulatory forbearance, ex-Central Bank Governor Indrajit Kumaraswamy said, as the country imposes stabilization measures after the worst currency crisis since independence. He said, we need to look at the regulatory forbearance. The Kumaraswamy told a conference organized by CLSA Securities, a Colombo-based brokerage. Sri Lanka's central bank has given some regulatory loosening in the mark to market losses and also in liquidity ratios. And that was economic news. Finally, in the weather report, the Met Department says showers or thundershowers will occur in the northern and eastern provinces and in Hambantota district. Showers or thundershowers will occur elsewhere during the afternoon or night. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in western, Sabaragamu and central provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. That was the weather report. To wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The President says Sri Lanka can be made a regional hub for education. Branches of the internationally recognized universities are to be established in the country. Deadline for filling income tax returns extended. Today is a holiday for all government and government-approved private schools. No power cuts during festive season and exam period. Electric motorboats will be introduced from next year for fishermen. With that, we conclude this morning news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.